What up, guys? I know I'm on my phone and the video quality probably looks like crap. I haven't got my computer set up yet, so we're definitely going to have to, keep an eye on. You have to just bear with me, please. This is going to be something that I'm going to be looking at here on the smaller time frames because its potential could be pretty decent for a nice, swing trade in maybe the coming week, depending on how the stock market holds up here as it becomes, especially SPY as it starts to reach the 400 level again for the third or fourth time. This stock has been beat down. It's had quite a big consolidation level, even if you're looking back from, say, well, I'm going to check in a second. Even if, we can even go like this just for the hell of it, because that was our bottom. If, this thing has been in consolidation pretty much from this drop-off point of this level of 35, 37, 35 area. It's been in consolidation here since March 30th, or let's just say April 1st, 2022, until now. And, if we were to go further back in this price action, you can see that this $50 level was a big resistance at one point. And, we did eventually rally up and have a giant blow off top that fell into a double bottom down here at $14, a retest of the W neckline, a rip up to this $50 level, another rejection, a move down, a retest of the same breakout neckline at 27, and then a pull up here. And now what I'm kind of looking at, although it's a little bit choppy because we did have this wick high to this $45 level, which made a lower high, I'm looking at a downtrending line from this wick, and this wick that caused the last rejection, and then this wick that caused the most recent rejection. So I'm just going to keep that there as an idea of a potential swing. And then you can see I have I have a note for myself, and then I also have, a couple yellow lines that I'm going to dig in deeper and see what's going on in the price action. The first thing to note here is that when we were in this chop zone, massive chop zone, right? This is huge, from $37 down to $33.50 roughly. I put my lines at $36.18 and $34.36. And currently what we're seeing on the daily is that daily candle bodies have not been able to close above this $34.36, and that's very, very clear. If you look at the candle body closes, it's just been in a chop fest. And it's been pretty much coming up to a high of roughly $35.40. Now, this is pretty much this chop range right here, and we're either back in it or underneath it. And I'm kind of looking at it as we're underneath it. So are we just flipping previous support into new resistance before we end up getting a break to the downside again, right? That's what we have to watch. And then at the same time, I'm kind of looking at this downtrending line. I know there's a lot of them. It looks crazy, but we had the two wicks here, we had the wick here, and then we have our potential fake breakout as SPY rallied to 410 most likely, and then came back down. We tried to retest that pattern, and then we failed, but we still found support at this downtrending support line, and overall making a potential falling wedge. And right now, price, in my view, is chopping at this downtrending resistance right here, and also with the 21 weekly EMA that I marked in here is at that 35.40 as well. That's pretty much where we're rejecting. That's like the high of the day. So is it just back testing the 21 weekly EMA and then it's going to get a huge rejection and fall to lower lows? Possible. But right now I'm kind of looking at this daily price action only, and this looks like a bullish move into a consolidation below a previous resistance or previous support, potentially flipping as resistance. However, if it does find a way to pop itself out of here, this could end up being a falling wedge breakout and also reclaim of previous support. So that's why this is interesting to me. And not only do we have multiple days of price action now that we can go off of, but also this could be showing that bulls don't want this price below 32.60 at the lowest with the wicks. So let's dive into, potentially a trade setup if this decides to give it to us on the smaller time frames. So if we look at the hourly here, there's a potential W pattern that has been forming right here, but we're still within the same chop range. So I've seen these before, and it's, although it looks nice and this could be a decent setup right here to play off of, we do have to be cautious that this could just turn into another chop range here and be a fake out. But even just not going off of this downtrending falling wedge resistance, which I'm going to leave it there for my own case because I like to keep that as a probability, we do want to watch this 34, 36 area that I have marked out as a potential area. And most likely the reason I have it, I kind of forget, I lined this up yesterday. But, it's possible that when we closed below here, it dropped us down. We came up, we tried to hold support on it, we fell below again. This has been an area we're trying to flip as support, and currently, potentially, price could be flipping it as support. If we were to lose it, then I'd be looking at potentially buying this $33 area and then stop losses somewhere below this wick of this 32.50 or 32.40, right? So if we were to take this trade and we just said, like, this is the trade, this is what we want to do, you pretty much, want to say, like, I'm going to enter at this $33 level right here. I'm going to stop loss below the wick low of, say, 30 at 32.40, and then I am going to bring this thing up. This is up to 43.50, right? That would be your play. Or you could even go a little bit below it if you want to go to this previous little bit of a chop zone right here. Let's say this was like a chopping area right here. So this could be another area of concern if we can get up here. This would be where you would take your profits up there, roughly. And that's going to give you a solid, what is that, 30% move? That's what this thing's saying. I just want to double check it. Say we enter at 33. If it gives us that. If it doesn't give us that, then we might have to enter at this somewhere above this 36.40. So if we went above 36.40 and we sold at this, that's an 18% move. And if we were to get a dip buy to 33, that's a 30% move. So and we're only going to be risking, a few, what is this? This is probably a very, 2% move maybe to the downside. Whoops, grabbed the wrong thing. Let's see where it is. Right here. From this point to this point, yeah, it's 2%. That's a 2% move to the downside versus an 18% or 30% to the upside. So that'd be something that I'll be looking at, but we definitely have to see price get above, at least for now, we want to see price get above and hold support on this 35.50 area. And keep in mind that 36.20 could be a resistance too. So say that we open up here and we're like up in this range and we come back down and we end up failing this support, then that pretty much is going to say that we're going to be chopping around a bit. If we can get back above any of this though and start closing candles, then this could end up being a nice trade to do on Monday morning when it comes down to it, or Monday midday, depending on how price plays out. And I'll be looking at this as a potential bull flag breakout off the hourly time frame. And how to measure a bull flag breakout, you take that highest point to the lowest point, and that's your flagpole. And technical target on this is actually right up to $45, and it's right into our green box. So that actually brings you to this old high here. So this is my idea. This is my trade idea. And I'll be watching this very carefully. Sometimes, even though we see this wick right here to this point that I put this, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to look at the previous bodies. I'm going to get rid of this big green box. Let's just clean this up a little bit, okay? Let's get rid of some of these. If I was to take this trade, say the stock market was open right now, and we were looking for an entry off this, and what I would be looking at is these bodies. That might not even be that suffice. Probably like right here. We can see that candle bodies came up here and they closed and they couldn't get above it and hold it as support. Same with here, same deal. We had this close here and then a fail. So I would personally, I'd be on the 5-minute time frame here. And if you're on the 5-minute time frame, you might have to move the line even more. So that's where you would say, okay, so far we made this consolidation here, and we were just chopping around, and we got a huge rejection. Over here, we had a triple top, 1, 2, 3, right? What here? This is where, you get into smaller details in the smaller time frames of how price is reacting. And that's when you can say, all right, what is the key level that we need to see a breakout from and a back test of? And that to me almost looks like that 35.50 that I already marked out, because we had a breakout, a rejection at this falling wedge resistance, and we pulled back and completely failed to hold this as support. And then we dumped and dumped and dumped all the way to our support. We eventually consolidated. We came back up. We got another rejection at this 35.55. We came back up. We got a double top and a little bit of a lower high. Came back down, and we even tested it again for the triple top, 35.40, 35.55, and then we rejected it. We consolidated, and now we had another rip up. We did make it to about 35.40 again, but we still haven't cleared that 35.50 and rejection. So it's possible that this is just going to do something kind of similar, that it ends up not being able to get up, double topping and coming back down, but with that slight chance that we can get a rally that ends up confirming some of this as support. That would be a beautiful, beautiful play, and that's when we can get into a potential long position. And then the next area to watch after that confirmation was to happen is this 36.29, because this was where we saw a big clear rejection. So you have to have day trades available. You have to be, you have to have your levels marked ahead of time, because if you take a trade at 35.50 and then it rejects at 36.29, comes back down and breaks that 35.50, now you're going to be in a loss. So there's a couple ways to keep an eye on this, but I'm going to be watching. I'm not sure where I'm going to enter. Am I going to enter a break of 36.30? That would be probably better off based off of support, resistance, and risk is somewhere in this range, because I think that a break of that would make a lot more sense. I mean, you can even chalk it up to, this as high as 36.50. What happened here when we lost 37? We dropped like a rock all the way down. And now we've pretty much been getting resistance up at this 36.50 to 36.30 area. So if we can break above that, that means we don't have much more resistance above, and we can actually probably rocket up here into this same channel up here, which is almost that $40 level. So I hope all this is making sense. I know I'm jumping around, but I'm also doing my own custom TA while I'm talking. If this is what would be going through my head on say Monday when we open up and price is starting to get above 35.50, I'm going to be saying, is it worth it for me to get in at 35.50, knowing that 36.61 could reject us right there, right? But also something to look at here is this is a high, and this is the same high here, but we got rejected. But are we going to be able to come up and make another higher high right there? That'll be pretty good look, but still need to see support found on these two key levels. Something that could happen if this is going to be a bullish setup is you could actually see a rip rally, 36.50 rejection, and then start bouncing and confirming support and resistance within these two levels. And then it's going to give us a clear idea of, is price going to now consolidate enough within this box range that we can actually get a lift off and start moving our way up into this $43, $44 level. That's going to be where we're at. So I hope that all of this made sense to you, and I hope you appreciate this analysis and this idea that I have. Notice that I haven't used any, EMAs on this video. Like I said, I used the EMA on the weekly just to see what is the most solid resistance. Are we sitting under the 200 EMA, something like that. And we can even look at the daily maybe to see if that's something that, this is the Ichimoku cloud. I don't even have the EMAs on here. Let me check for the EMAs real quick, even though, this one. I'm not paying for anything currently, so let's see. EMA. I'd have to do this on video, so sorry guys. Bear with me for a second. I gotta change all these back, make that the 100 and make this the 200. So let's just check real quick. So we are above the 200 EMA on the daily. That's where we got this rip up at 29, or let's say $30. The daily 21 EMA is pretty much below us, and we're at this 50 and this 100. And we did have the 50 cross below the 100. So could we get back above this, which is $35 even pretty much, while the 50 is sitting, the daily 50 is at $34.65. That could be something to watch as well. And that's pretty much where we haven't closed our candle bodies above on the daily, right? So we're trying to look for a reclaim of the 50 daily EMA. And that's something to look at. Now, we do have some nice curling up, potentially some squeezing happen between all these EMAs on the 4 hour, but I don't like to do too much reading into EMAs. Personally, I just like to look at candle body closes and potential support above those areas. So definitely something to watch. Could this be a bull flag here forming that's going to rip us up into this previous resistance? It could still make a lower high here and then reject all the way back down to the lower end of this, end up doing something like that later. Yes, we could be early, but I think that the risk to reward based off of the low support and the resistance is pretty good for price to reclaim or retest this $43. So hopefully this all makes sense. That's a decent move, 18% move or so up there, I think I had said. And yeah, if you enjoy this, if you feel like this is something that could be on your radar for Monday, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you don't mind, and I'm out of here.